Charles Leiter passed away very suddenly. The papers are missing.
Witchcraft, you know. It's all a load of nonsense, really, these trials.
Kirk here had an encounter in the morgue.
I said I don't want to talk about it, goddammit.
He got these rare books and then engaged talented artists to make forgeries.
Oh, the other guy's real sweet. Abner Wick. You can detect movement. Strange, writhing movement.
What did you see? Mahoney, whose face did you see? Was it a face?
The dreams in the witch house. You see Kirk sleep, knock this woman unconscious.
I took one look at her in the eyes, and there was something wrong about her eyes. They were glowing, so I took my blackjack and I brought it down on her head, and I lifted it up again. I could still see those eyes, and I lifted it up, and I brought it down one more time.
What have you done?
Down below me, I saw the twitching body of Anthony Flinders. It was his turn.
He's murdered Lydia. He's lost it. He's totally lost it this time.
Yeah, the fella hanged himself last night.
I realized the people I was firing at were my friends.
I heard a voice telling me that the people I was firing at were my friends, and there was no need for this kind of conduct.
We need to get out of here right now.
We should leave now.
Scheiße, I never found out about his hands. Did either of you ask about his hands?
At which point, Dr. Montrose leaps out the car and just starts running.
Sure.
I'm done with this. This is madness. I'm a librarian.
On the wind, it's a smell like lavender and rotting flowers. My, what is going on? Why don't we decamp to my shop? It's only round the corner. The final shot would be him looking up and down the street and then shutting the shop door and pulling the blinds down. And so to any passerby, it would appear completely dead inside. The Apocalypse Players present Crimson Letters. A Call of Cthulhu 7th edition scenario by Alan Bligh. Starring Joseph Chance as Dr. Jonas Steinweg, Danann McAleer as Professor Duckworth, Dan Wheeler as Kirk Sleep, P.I. With our special guests, Doug McAndrew as Dr. Althea Montrose and Mike Perceval-Maxwell as P.J. Mahoney. The Keeper of Arcane Lore is Dominic Allen. Chapter 11, The White Mask.
Is Dr. Montrose in a state of agitation, or has she managed to regain some part of her senses?
I think probably you've recovered by now.
Yeah, I think it was a few rounds.
I might just pop my tin and offer her a little bit more cocaine, because I know she had quite a dose at the entrance.
I'm not sure that any more of that would be a good idea. Thank you, Doctor.
No, I understand. Of course, not appropriate. I'm sorry. I just thought maybe you little one.
I had quite the turn between one thing and another. A cup of tea would be better, Mr. Wick. Yeah. Could you put the kettle on? I could murder a cup of tea.
Ah, yes, of course. A cup of tea coming right up. Give me one moment. Why don't you go and make yourselves comfortable in the front? This way, and you're at the back of the shop. So there's this sort of covered loading bay, and there's a door, the back door to the shop when he gets his keys out and unlocks it. It's a sturdy metal door, and it opens directly into a storeroom where there's lots of packing crates and shelving. There are two doors to your left as you go in, and through the boxes and crates to your right, there is the door into the shop, which he gestures to flamboyantly and says, "Oh, go sit, make yourselves comfortable. I'll get the tea. And what would everyone else like? Sherry, port?
I'll have a Horlicks straight up, no junk in it.
A malty drink?
Just a coffee for me. I'll be fine. Yes.
Good, very good.
Well, a glass of milk, if
I'm sure we have.
Oh, yeah, the sherry would be lovely. Thank you.
Bourbon.
I think we can stretch to bourbon, yes. Well, yes, make yourselves comfortable. I won't be a moment. And he sort of waddles through the crates to the second door on the left and opens it and closes it behind him.
And ostensibly no one is here with us?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be.
Can I do a little just... I'm trying to work out how insane I am and how able to actually just function as a normal human being I am. Because part of me feels like I can no longer interact like a normal human.
You're just indefinitely insane, aren't you?
I certainly am that. Yeah, but I was
you're subject to delusions.
Delusions, but I was talked down after the last bout, right? I'm
in a state of great fragility, I think is.
I'm in a state of great fragility, but currently able to function.
Yeah.
Fine, okay.
You're not.
Okay.
Yeah. If you lose a point of sanity, you'll have a bad man.
Well, of course, yeah. But I just wanted to check that that I can role play as someone who's able to use his brain in a normal way.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not really until you get to 0 sanity that you kind of lose the ability.
Well, not long then. It might be tonight.
You might be subject to delusions, but you can do a reality check if you think that you are.
Thanks.
Yes, what do you want to do?
Seeing Sleep's mouth moving a lot, I think he thinks that he isn't doing it. But he's sort of talking to himself about how much he believes. I'm getting little phrases maybe about, am I able to function? Who am I? What am I supposed to be able to doing? I lean over to Duckworth and I say, do you think, Dr. Duckworth, how many more times can you out-narrate Mr. Sleep? Do you think maybe one more time in a crisis?
Something of a quandary. I've never...
Twice I thought was remarkable, but one more time, I think these things come in threes, do they not? Do you think
I've never narrated someone out of madness more than once. The second go was a...
Would you like to attend to him, or shall I?
Perhaps you.
Very, very good. Perhaps somebody could assist Mr. Mahoney in casing the joint?
Yes.
And I look at meaningfully across the other three, and then I nip over with a light foot, almost excited to get to the the private investigator.
Well.
So PJ's not really interested in this discussion about how sane or insane Kirk is at the moment. This is that's all above his head, all this talking about delusions and having cocaine and stuff like that is not really exactly his cup of tea. So he's just kind of been wandering around the room, almost aimlessly, but just sort of surveying the room, and maybe if there's a little ornament or something like that, just picking it up and having a look at it and putting it back down again. And
he's still in the storeroom.
Oh, we're still in the storeroom.
Oh no, you can have gone through into the shop if you want.
Well, I wasn't quite sure exactly where we were left. I think we were.
He sort of left you in the storeroom, but gestured to the.
Yeah. Well, I'll have a wee scope around the storeroom as well first. Unless everything is all kind of packed up.
It is all mainly packed up into crates and boxes.
Okay. If there's not a box with a lid that can just be lifted and opened, or.
Oh yeah, there's some like that. Yeah,
I'll have a wee nosy about and see what's inside a couple of crates then.
Marked for attention of the Ivory Wind.
I'm not going to try and force a crowbar a crate open or anything like that. But
no, just whatever.
I know we nosy about.
Yeah, give me a spot hidden roll. Maybe there'll be something.
Hidden roll. So, what's my spot hidden? Spot hidden, sort of almost all right. A 0-4 under 85. Goodness me, extreme success.
That's what we want.
So you poke your nose in a few boxes and crates. Some of them have one of them's got some sort of fancy lamp in there. Another one has it's a crate of different shoes. It's just lots of shoes. And then one crate is very carefully packed with screwed up paper and
straw and that kind of thing.
And straw but there's something in there just sort of poking out, this sort of white, sort of actually more sort of yellowy, off-white shape. And as you sort of touch it and lift it up slightly, you realise it's a skull. But it's quite a strange shape.
Alas, it's Yorick. Hey.
It's. Do you hold it up like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
What's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?
So the skull, as you all now see, is... the skull itself is unnaturally elongated. It's sort of like, it's sort of long and strangely shaped. And the teeth...
Oh, they had to take the suction cup to you when you were born, didn't they?
The teeth are really sharp. They don't look like, they're not square, rectangular. They look more canine than that.
What?
Is there a chance that I don't see that as I'm busy going over to Mr. Sleep?
Some kind of ape or skull or something? Look what I found.
And then I hear him say that, and so instinctively I go, what's that?
I've never seen nothing like this before.
Could I roll anthropology?
Please do.
Just see if it looks like a sort of...
or natural world, or biology, or
a birth defect,
or Cthulhu mythos, or...
Yeah.
Or Cthulhu mythos.
Can I simultaneously roll not understanding what I'm seeing skill?
It's not quite an extreme success, but it's a hard success. 7 on a 26. I'm aware maybe of the San Pedro mummy, which I think was like 1850s. It was discovered, the sort of the diminutive figure they found when gold mining with the canine teeth.
Yeah,
but
it's very like that.
Yeah,
this must be very valuable, and it's certainly odd. It's very unusual. It looks authentic. It doesn't look like a hoax. Yeah, very strange.
But it looks... Would my instinct be that it's perhaps an old sort of skull from perhaps because I'm aware, obviously, head binding and things like that. Does it look like something that's a birth defect or something that's natural, as much as natural might be?
How well did you roll again? You got a hard
success.
It's not something that you recognise from any culture on Earth. And it doesn't look like it's that old a skull, really.
Right.
But just to clarify, it does look like a deformed human skull rather than a skull of a different animal.
It's humanoid.
Okay.
I hate that oid.
What is it? Is one of these orang-utans or whatever it is you call them? Great monkeys?
Yeah, some kind of baboon or orangutan.
It could be. Perhaps ceremoniously, I know in some cultures they would replace the teeth with those of another animal, but I couldn't say for sure.
Gentlemen, Dr. Montrose, I don't think we have very much time. It is a fascinating find, but some of us should definitely go into the shop.
Well, I just want my cup of tea. Yes. And having had a wee sit down to gather herself, she'll follow Abner Wick if he was heading into the shop towards where a cup of tea, maybe.
Well, I could do with a drink as well.
I think we are supposed to go into the shop and Mr. Vic will come out from the other side. I point off to the second door off to the left.
He gestured us through one door and went through another, didn't he?
I would like to walk straight to the door next to the one he walked through and just see if it's open.
It is open. And you open it, and it is a small water closet. There's a toilet, a sink, and a small window out onto the pavement. It's got a little sort of net curtain for privacy.
How charming. But nothing of interest, essentially.
If you don't mind, one moment.
Please.
I'll be right with you.
Yes, be my guest.
Ain't as young as I used to be.
As PJ makes his way into the water closet, I might just see if I can just grab him by the elbow and say, "You want to check that window opens? Be good to know we got another way out of here."
Oh, yeah, sure thing. Good thinking, Sleep. Yeah, I'll check it out while I'm in there. But excuse me.
PJ goes and relieves himself. The window does open, but it's not very big. Meanwhile, the rest of you, are you waiting in the storeroom till Wick gets back? Are you going?
Well, I was just going to say, having tried that door and found it to be a water closet, I just want to sort of be thorough. So what I might do is just walk to the door he went through, open it a crack and sort of say, Mr. Wick, a bourbon would do nicely for me as well. Apologies. I'll see you in the main room, but it's basically to see if I can get a glimpse into the room he disappeared into.
When you open the door, there is a staircase that goes straight down into the basement. There's a smell of... It's not so much damp, it's more just sort of earthy.
Sure. Do I hear a response from him?
Yes. He sort of calls up. He sounds very far away. He says, yes, no problem. Bourbon, yes, of course. I'll be... One moment.
Thank you.
Don't trouble yourself. Go and sit down.
I will. And I close the door. And I turn to the others and say, well, it seems his drink cellar is somewhat lower than most I've encountered in this country. I
think it's probably fair to say the others probably only sleep, because I would have thought Montrose and I would have, during all the shenanigans of toilet nipping and doors opening, I think Montrose aren't going to be standing doing nothing. So I suspect if your intention, Althea, was to go into the room, I would have accompanied you, disappointed that sleep broke away from me, but I wasn't going to try and physically stop him because I don't think that's appropriate. So
in which case,
I think maybe the door's still open into the shop, as I understand it, if I've got the geography right, Dom. But I think if Montrose and I are sort of on or just inside the shop area, is there anything unusual in there that we noticed? Like, bodies laid out, ritual sacrifices ready, knives?
No, it's the shop. It's exactly how you remember it.
Was.
Packed.
So it has all of the paraphernalia to do all of that. It's just it's not laid out ready to.
Exactly, it's all for sale. And there are some armchairs and seats around. There's a little sort of table that he obviously uses for guests.
I think just while the toilet door was opening, and I've taken it as read that. Is it all right with you that Mahoney was sort of opening crates a bit while we were sort of chatting about cocaine and all that stuff? So that was all sort of simultaneous. So Mahoney's only just gone to the loo. But I think I turned to Montrose, who seems to be more with it now, and say, Dr. Montrose, the events of the asylum were terrible, but I really must talk to you about what happened when we were interviewing Mr. Hunter. I think your insights will be invaluable. He said something that has disturbed me about our being here now. The coincidence is shocking. He said that Abner Vick, he talked about him as the fat man. And he said he has it in the most striking manner. And he says he has it in his basement. Yeah?
And Mr. Rick is in his basement as we speak.
And I couldn't help but notice that a strange skull had been brought out by the good Dr. Duckworth. My mind is racing here a little bit, and I don't want to get too excited, which is why I'm resisting the white powder, but at the same time... I think I hear the toilet.
Well, instead what you actually hear... I don't know how quick Mahoney is or what he's doing.
Well, I'm an old man. I don't hear the toilet.
He'll be a minute or two yet.
Right. What you do hear is someone coming up the stairs behind the door, and sure enough, a moment or two later, Abner Wick appears. He's carrying a couple of bottles.
When I see him appear, may I do a spot hidden to see whether it looks like he's carrying anything else other than the drinks that he's promised us?
The submachine gun, for instance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no need.
There's no need. You can see that he's only carrying... In fact, he's not even carrying all the drinks. He's just carrying 2 bottles.
Blue WKD and a Smirnoff Ice.
Yeah, he's just carrying a bottle of port and a bottle of bourbon. And he says, yes, Carlo is coming up with the tea and coffee momentarily. Just waiting for the water to boil. Shall we repair to the table? And he sort of waddles over to the table, starts pouring drinks for you.
At this point, there is the sound of a flushing toilet. And And PJ reappears, closing the door behind him, and says, "Oh, that's a load off. I'd give that a few minutes if I was you."
Just to clarify, were any of you still in the storeroom when Abner Wick came up the stairs, or did you all move through?
Me and Sleep were.
Yeah.
Unless I'm wrong.
I think so.
That's okay. In which case, so Mahoney comes out the toilet and, he says, "Oh, no, you're just in the nick of time. The coffee will be up in just a moment."
Oh, okay, thanks. Just out of interest, just to get my bearings, does it appear that there's any doors into like a living area here, or is it just really a storeroom, shop, and basement?
Well, you're not sure what's down in the basement, but yeah, there's no upstairs.
Okay. So this really just appears to be his place of business rather than where he lives as well.
Yeah.
I lean over to Montrose and I say, "Interesting. I don't think we met Carlo before."
No, he was in the shop on his own, was he not?
Well, there was Hector and there was Amma, I believe, and now there was a third. Carlo. Numbers.
Carlo.
Oh, well, we're in the. I'm keeping my voice low on that one.
You're in the other room, right?
I think I said everything else loudly, so I would have thought Sleep heard everything that I said about the. I mean, you two knew it already because you were down in the asylum with me about the basement.
But I did not.
But I don't know, Tom, if you're. Is it fair to say Sleep knows what I said about the basement?
I think if you said that in a different room to me, I think I probably don't.
Door's open, and we're only through the room. You're cool, Dom. I just didn't want to slow things down by having to repeat things.
So you say what were you saying about the basement?
What I was saying is
about
the Carlo thing was between just me and Montrose, is what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm thinking numbers of servants.
But the revelation about that you got from
this stuff I probably wouldn't have raised. But yeah, you're right. I would have kept my voice low. You're right, Dan.
Fat man.
Yeah. Is it a warning, ref? It's not a yellow card, is it? It's just I won't come in heavy again. I'm just nervous.
So we're all in the kind of shop area now. Have I got that right?
Yeah.
I guess we've all made our way through, have we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there places for everyone to sit in here?
Not comfortably.
Sure.
But Wick proffers his seat. He sort of is happy to sort of stand and hover unpleasantly close behind you.
A couple of feet off the ground.
BJ's quite happy to stand. He's, "Oh, I'm good. I used to standing."
Dr. Montrose takes a seat.
Yeah, I will as well.
I look at the other two younger men, Duckworth and the athletic Sleep, and I nod at them and I sit down in the other chair.
Okay.
And if he's pouring us drinks, I suppose I'll take a glass of bourbon and sort of propose a toast to your health, sir, and the continued success of your business.
Oh, too kind, and to your health as well, and long life. And he drinks very. He's quite unpleasant to watch eating and drinking.
Yeah. What's he drinking? Has he poured himself?
He's had a big tot of port, and he guzzles it down. Some of it sort of spills out the corner of his mouth and just sort of dribbles down his chin.
Ooh.
And he wipes it on his hand.
These were poured in the other room, were they?
Oh no, he's poured them in
front of us. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you need me to do my spot poison check from Dune? Would that be using my faculty or my secondary attribute?
We don't have time to do any single skill roll from Dune, unfortunately.
It would take 2 hours.
I'd like to, I'd like to take a sip of bourbon, but in doing so, I'll of course have to raise my porcelain mask, which I've not done in his presence before. And I'd like to sort of...
To make a sanity roll?
Well, I think you've all had to make sanity rolls on it, but I'm basically gauging his reaction. It's a little thing that I have the pleasure of doing now. I have no face. I'd like to raise the porcelain mask and sort of look at him sort of very directly and say, your health. and take a sip of bourbon. I just want to sort of gauge what his reaction is.
Do you take your mask off completely?
No, I raise it up.
Oh, right.
Like that. But so he can clearly see my lack
your whole
of
face.
Features, yeah.
Yeah. He just sort of watches you. His eyes widen slightly, but almost in a sort of... actually, you can give me a psychology roll. I think that's
yeah.
Oh, dear.
I imagine it's on a piece of elastic, like one of those trestle masks.
Yeah. It's like a V for Vendetta mask. I got a 16 on my 50 psychology.
Nice. Very nice.
So you know that he's sizing you up to be the next exhibit?
I was going to say, I must have
There's a jar your size just out back.
Delicious. So delicious.
There's a momentary delight in his face.
Oh, that's far worse than I expected.
Almost like a sort of like a fascination, but also that he's sort of thrilled that you've done it. And he smiles at you and says, "Oh, don't be. There is no need to be shy in my presence. After all, we all wear masks, don't we?"
Yes, I suppose we do.
I don't wear a mask.
Oh, Mr. Mahoney. Perhaps not you. Perhaps you are the exception that proves the rule.
I've come across plenty in my days on the force who were wearing masks when they were breaking into jewelers' shops and robbing the joint and so forth.
Yes.
I was implying that perhaps not all masks are worn so visibly.
Well, some I guess when they're new, they're in better condition, but I imagine given time, everything gets worn down.
My Egyptian friend Niall Arthurtep has several.
As you say, worn down, you hear this clink of porcelain, and a figure enters from the back with a tray, with a coffee, a sort of copper coffee pot and a big teapot and some cups. And because it's quite gloomy, like he's lit a lamp maybe by the table or whatever, but it's quite gloomy, you don't really see them at first. But as they sort of shuffle into the room, you realise they're kind of stooped in a kind of odd way. And then they put the tray down and you see this woman's face. And her face is unusual. She looks familiar, but she also looks like... it's hard to say. She looks strange.
Like a dog. Or like strange like her jaw is weird and she has sharp teeth, or just strange.
If she looks like she's kind of having any difficulty, if she's hunched over and you know, maybe there's some sort of she has trouble unloading the tray or whatever, I was quite happy to kind of walk over and offer to lend her a hand.
She doesn't reply to you. She just continues to sort of... She doesn't seem to be struggling as such.
Oh, okay.
It's just... at first you maybe thought she might struggle.
So I'll pour that for myself. That's all right. Thank you. Oh, you're doing it anyway. Okay. Oh.
Actually, she doesn't do the pouring. You see that her hands are... They don't even look like they'll be able to have the finesse to pick up the teapot.
Here, allow me. I'll get that. Don't you trouble yourself with.
She nods, and Abner says, "Thank you, Carla. You may go for the evening. See you tomorrow." And she sort of nods and leaves.
And there's no distinguishing features to assist us in our memory trap that we find ourselves in, or familiarity.
Oh, I'd say all the things you just observed are true.
Wait, what?
No, I'm not going there.
You could give me an intelligence roll if you're trying to pin down why she looks familiar.
Do we all find her familiar?
That's a good question.
I think so, yeah.
I'm from this town, so is there, I feel like if I recognise her, there might be a chance she's an ex-client, or...
I'd definitely like to do an intelligence roll to see if I can... placing people is something that...
I think, yeah, likewise.
I've rolled a 0.8. That's an extreme success on my intelligence. Oh dear.
Well, here we go.
Here we go.
I failed.
I don't want to make an intelligence roll, but I'm getting the impression that perhaps I should.
I've failed.
You don't have to. You can just.
I'm not going to bother.
You can just ignore that thought if you want to.
I'm not really.
I got a normal success.
I'm going to choose to ignore that thought.
Doug, did you say you're ignoring that thought as well?
I'm ignoring that thought.
I've been given the option to ignore that thought, and I'm going to grab hold of it firmly with both hands.
Ignoring stuff is going to be my main strategy from now on.
This episode.
Try and ignore everything.
Till the end. Does everybody else, as players, know who this is? Because I'm running through. I now have multiple notes on my wall, and I'm like a madman going.
I don't know who it is, but I've got an idea of what it might be.
I have a nasty feeling, but no, I failed.
Who succeeded there? Steinweg, you're racking your brains. You can't. She seems so familiar, and her face is so unusual that you're sure you would remember where you saw it last. But for Kirk and Dr. Duckworth, you think for a moment, I've seen that woman before? And then you realise where you have seen her face, in the skull that Mahoney held up merely moments before. And can you both give me sanity rolls?
You had to use your intelligence.
It's the most dangerous roll in the game.
You had to go figure stuff out.
You had to pay attention.
Yeah, I failed.
Well, that's when I could have done with rolling a 0.8, but unfortunately that's a fail.
Yay!
We both failed. A horrible realisation.
Well, that flipping Kirk's going to have a bout of madness, isn't he? There's no getting around that.
That is a horrible realisation that Carla, whoever she is almost certainly not human.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't like it.
Don't like it.
So while I'm pouring my cream and 4 sugars into my cup of coffee...
I've rolled the wrong die. We're okay. It's not as bad as I thought.
Have you brought the Tommy gun with you, Sleep?
No, so I threw it under the car in the...
Oh, yes.
Have you left it up there?
Yeah, it's up there at the asylum.
Fantastic.
I've left it in the asylum. Best place for it.
Yeah. I think it's called the crime scene now, but yeah. You both lose 3 points of sanity.
Okay.
Lovely.
That's bad news. That puts me on 10 sanity.
Hang on in there.
Oh, it's going to be a good one.
I neck the rest of my bourbon to try and sort of mitigate the realisation and sort of sit quietly, turning my cane over in my fingers, slightly anxiously.
So, Kirk Sleep, you're listening. You're sort of vaguely aware that Abner Wick is talking. He's whittering on about something, but you've become completely transfixed by a carved statuette on the shelf behind him of a dog, and there's a few others as well. And you love it. You really love it, and you've developed zoomania, an insane fondness for animals.
Better than zoophagia.
Maybe it was Carla's face, but
when you say fondness.
Yeah, come on.
Is that euphemism?
I'll leave that.
It is a word that is open to interpretation.
I had a vague sensation that people were talking, but...
Oh, God, here we go.
But I spotted a statuette behind the guy's head, and all I could think was how beautiful that dog looked, and then I remembered, didn't he have a dog? Is the dog just in a room? Question for... I asked I asked the keeper a question. I asked him, did I see that funny little dog that brought the drinks up? Did she leave through the same door, or did she go out the front door of the shop?
She's gone out the same door. She's gone out the back.
Yeah, so I turned to Wick and I said, I got to use the bathroom, and I made for the door.
Oh, you saying this all out loud?
Damn straight he is.
Excellent.
Mr. Vic, might I accompany Mr. Sleep?
I'm sure he'll be all right. He's just going to the toilet, isn't he?
I'm a little concerned about him. Sometimes he has moments like this. I'm his personal physician, you see.
That Kraut physician started talking about me as if I wasn't there, which I don't like.
He recognizes
but
me.
I thought I'd let him off the hook. So I just made for the door. Went straight out of the room.
So while that happens, Duckworth, you lost 3 as well. Are you still sane?
That's a very good question. I think I am, although...
Well, everyone thinks they are.
I mean, I dipped down to a 41. I've still got quite a bit left. I don't think I've lost 6 since, like, in a full day. That would tip me over, right?
This is all one day, I think, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. No, yeah, it's all one day. We've essentially played this in real time.
Yeah. So I don't think I've got to say...
It's been 3 months.
But I'm not happy. It's not. None of it's sitting comfortably, and I'm sort of very anxious.
All happened on the same day.
Yes,
Really?
It is practically real time.
It's like fucking Reservoir Dogs, but with added lobster dinners.
It's a fifth, right? A fifth is the problem in the same day, right? Just to reiterate the basics of rules.
So what did you start on?
I started on a 50, so I'm doing.
You haven't lost 10. You're all right.
No, not quite. But one more point before I sleep, and I'll probably.
So yeah, I'd love to just sort of tap my cane to my forehead while I see that Duckworth is draining this bourbon fast and steady, and his I was going to say his face is pale. But of course that's just
it is. Yeah.
So Kirk and Steinweg are heading at the back towards the toilet. Abner Wick turns to the rest of you and says, well, will they be all right?
Yes, I think so. Our friend Kirk is... we all have our issues, don't we? We all have our demons, and he's not having a particularly pleasant evening, but
he's having a bad day.
He's having a bad day, let's say.
Yes, speaking of which, how are things progressing with your Hobhouse Papers problem?
Well,
any progress?
No real progress, I don't believe. No.
Say that again.
How disappointing. Only
our investigation continues.
Yes.
We've got a few leads we're chasing down.
Oh yes.
Yes,
such as.
Well, I don't know if there's anything's gonna come of them, so we're just working our way through.
Yes.
Eliminating as we go along.
We've turned down a few cul-de-sacs, and we've a couple of streets left to try. So
these things sometimes take time.
And what is your next street?
Well,
well, what thoughts have crossed your mind, Mr. Wick?
Yes. Any progress yourself?
Well, I have my ear to the ground, so to speak, and I do have a small concern that if the witch papers aren't recovered soon, there may be a complication for all of us. And let us say that whatever the university have said or insisted, the real situation is much more pressing.
I see.
Of course, they wouldn't know about that.
Care to illuminate us as to the details of this?
let's just say that if you do find those original papers, it would very much behoove you to bring them to someone with the correct expertise. And that, my friends, would be me.
Expertise in what way? Sorry, I don't follow exactly.
No. Expertise in matters that are more to do with the content of the witch papers and less to do with their intrinsic value, if that makes sense.
Say we were to find a copy of the papers, would that assist us at all?
It would be best with the copies if you either bring them to me as well or destroy them yourself.
I remember you saying yes, quite right. And what is it about the, of course, the historical significance, but anything else? A copy, if the original is lost, surely is the next best thing, no? Unless someone's made a mistake. So.
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Dr. Duckworth. It's much like the game the children play where they whisper things to each other and it comes out the other end all wrong.
Yes.
Only imagine if those words had real power.
I see.
We wouldn't want that to come out all wrong, would we?
No, a prayer in the wrong direction.
Exactly. You understand my meaning.
So why? I still don't follow as to what the urgency of the matter is.
Well, I believe that when the copies were made, when Mr. Leiter betrayed my trust and went behind my back to find extra buyers, that a mistake was made, and that mistake is going to have ramifications for everyone who comes into contact with those papers.
How so?
The papers have real power, Mr. Mahoney.
What, you mean there's some sort of legal documentation?
No, I mean power.
No, I'm still not following you.
Well...
How does paper have power? I mean,
well, if you bring them to me, I can show you.
Yes, you could. You're not making any sense. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just a foolish old man. But you talk about paper having power and people dangerous power and good power and bad power. I don't understand.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Mahoney. During your investigation of these witch papers, have you come across anything that you would say is unusual?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, come across unusual things every day, but...
But more so than normal?
I guess, yeah. I hadn't really thought, but I guess, yeah, you could say that, I suppose.
I see. Well, if you want a more immediate demonstration, why don't we go and have a look at Mr. Leiter's body?
Well, we've had a look at his body already, unless you're speaking of the autopsy.
Well, that would be perfect, wouldn't it?
Would it?
Yes. We'll finally get to the bottom of things.
Oh, yeah, that's a point. I kind of lost track of the time now. It must be getting on.
Almost 8?
The autopsy is at 8.
I believe so. I might be wrong, to be fair.
Well, we mustn't waste a minute more. We should get over to Miskatonic as soon as possible. We'll just wait for your friends to finish in the lavatory together.
Yes, I think you're right. And I pour myself another bourbon.
So, Mr. Wick, I'm still trying to piece this together. You're saying that the real papers, the actual genuine article, so to speak, that's got a kind of a power to it, which I don't claim to understand, but okay, for the sake of argument, I'll go along. And if there's a copy of it and it's not been copied correctly or properly, then it's got a power too, but it's kind of gone wrong or something. Is that what am I understanding you correctly?
I think you're understanding me perfectly, Mr. Mahoney.
I wish I could say the same.
I think of it. I think of it as, say, the Dead Sea Scrolls or an original Gospel of the Bible, will of course hold more power to believers.
Oh yeah, like some sort of a religious text or something like that. Yeah, the power of belief. Yeah, no, I think I understand. I follow. Yeah.
I think that's what our friend here means.
As Abner Wick takes another long drink of port and doesn't answer you, in the other room, what's going on?
I walk out of the room. I walked out of the room, went up to the bathroom door, gave it a slam, make it sound like I was visiting the pisser, and what does an American call a toilet? Make it sound like I was visiting the John.
I like pisser, yeah, very
visiting the John. That crouched shrink was still following me.
He followed you stealthily.
And then he was following me stealthily. I didn't even know about it until later. And I turned around.
Don narrated everything that was happening.
Pricked up my ears. Could I hear the sound of that little dog? Could I smell it? Could I track it?
I'd like to get this straight. You've gone into the toilet.
No. I've just gone to the room outside. Hey, you're not listening. I said I went out of the door. I took the bathroom door and I slammed it. I didn't go in there. I stood at the top of the stairs.
Dr. Steinweg took out a cigarette, lit it, took out another cigarette, and then offered it to Private Investigator Sleep.
The doctor offered me a cigarette. I took it. I took that cigarette and I looked around and I had to listen to see if I could hear that little doggy.
So what's your plan, Dr. Steinweg?
See a little doggy again. Dr. Steinweg asked me if that was the plan. I said, sure is. I want to track down that beautiful little doggy I saw earlier.
Give me a listen roll.
No, that's a fail on my listen.
You can't hear anything over your hard-boiled monologue.
Would you allow me to do a track roll to see whether I can see where what I think is the dog has gone?
Yes. Yeah, that's fine.
My track is very bad, so yeah, I failed that as well. I tried to see if I could hear the dog, hear that little mutt, that beautiful little pooch, and I couldn't hear it. I couldn't track it. No sign of it anywhere.
Yeah, fix it.
I turned to the doctor and I said to him, "Hey, you see where that dog went? See where the little doggy went?"
The Kraut doctor looked at the private investigator with a steely eye, and he said, "This is all because of the betrayal, isn't it?"
He asked me about some kind of betrayal. If I could remember every betrayal I've ever experienced in my 49 years, then, well, maybe I'd write a book.
Just like the victim, said Dr. Steinweg, the Kraut doctor.
The doctor said, just like the victim. I thought, what kind of victim he's talking about? If he's so many victims past few days, I can't keep track.
Professor Leiter, says the doctor. He is the victim that we have taken the case for. We are working together. I'm like your partner now. But not like the partner you have amorous feelings for, like you do for the dog girl. She is very beautiful, I agree. But now is not the time for this, is it? He said.
I could tell this doctor felt the same way about the little doggy as I did. Turns out the two of us who were thinking about screwing the pooch.
The Kraut doctor laughed despite himself.
He calls himself that. Dr. Steinweg, what are you attempting to do? Are you aiming for a role here? Are you trying to psychotherapize him?
I think, yeah. I mean, in the broadest I think if anything, he's sort of trying to doing an impression of Duckworth, who's had such success. I think he's been very struck by the physical reality of Duckworth, walking through a potential hail of bullets, doing that sort of narration thing. But he knows he's sort of slightly out of his depth. But he's also trying to kind of still sleep into maybe focusing on we don't need the dog girl right now. But he's not trying to stop him.
Let's have a psychotherapy roll then.
I got the feeling that doctor didn't need the dog girl as much as I did. Something about the way he spoke.
Oh yeah, that's good. It's a hard pass.
Put my hand on my 45.
23 on a 60.
Oh Christ!
Something gets through to you, Kirksley,
and then something began to get through to me, and
the mania starts to subside.
The mania started to subside, and I thought, yeah, maybe Maybe this is material for that book. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe write it all down, says the doctor.
Maybe write it all down, said the doctor. Wait. What? Was I talking to myself?
You were having a revelation, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking for the dog. I wanted. Say.
It's a dog. You were focused perhaps on a dog in the room.
Say, doctor, you wanna have a look down those stairs?
Why don't we do that very quickly?
Yeah, very quickly.
Do you want to both give me a listen roll?
Yeah.
I've already rolled listen, so I'm not going to do it again.
Okay.
I have passed. No, I haven't. Shit. I'm going to spend 1 luck.
Yes, you are.
Ooh.
Definitely.
Yes, I am. Although I've spent quite a lot of luck, it turns out. Okay, good. So, I'm going to spend 1 luck and pass that roll.
You can hear 2 voices coming from somewhere down those stairs. You can just about make out a little bit of what they're saying.
I gesture for Sleep to be silent and then bring him over to the door.
Their voices are guttural and croaky, and you can hear a sort of, you think perhaps a female voice saying, "What do you mean? What do you mean? He's gone." And then a male sort of voice says, "I opened the trunk and he was gone."
Sleep. There's something very important I have to tell you. When we were interviewing Cecil Hunter, no, I don't think it is the dog. Listen to me. I think when we were interviewing Cecil Hunter, he said, and the man is mad, but he said the big fat man, and I think he means Avner Vic, has it in the basement. It said, he is in the basement.
Well, should we go and look for it in the basement?
I don't know if that is wise. I feel the others will miss us very quickly. And if there are 2 people down there, it will turn to conflict fast, yes. I cannot think. I have this, and he takes out Flinders' pendant. It is the only piece in the game that I don't know how we might be able to use it. I don't think it is of anything particular worth to Mr. Vic, but I know that it meant something a great deal to Mr. Flinders. He believed that it carried the power of this witch figure, this Keziah Mason. I feel we are so close now. So close.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you don't want to try and sneak down there now and have a snoop around, or maybe come back later?
I think we have to come back. And there are more of us, and we know what we can do. Is there something, maybe the window, something we can make? You said the toilet window, could we? And I actually dash over to the toilet door. Mm-hmm. Is there some way that we can rig it, so that we can get back in?
Yeah, let me take a look at that. You just keep an eye out for that dog.
You go to the toilet, and I start smoking, and I close the door on him if I have to.
So I see if I can, I go in the bathroom and see if I can sort of, I don't know, if it's got a little catch, snap the catch off or something so it can't be locked from the inside.
Yeah, I think you can probably do that. I'm guessing you want to do it quietly.
Yeah, I mean, do you want a locksmith roll or something?
Yeah.
That is an extreme success on my locksmith.
You manage to sort of slowly get it out and pull it off without making a noise. And the window now doesn't shut properly.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Not to sleep, yeah.
Meanwhile, in the other room, what's happening?
Would it take an idea roll to realise that they've been gone a while and to sort of think perhaps they're having a look around and maybe I should cover for
I don't think you need to roll for it. It sounds like you've had the thought.
Yeah. In which case I think I might stand up and say, lovely, these have gone slightly to my head. A lovely drop of bourbon. I might avail myself of the facilities as well. Just checking on the my two.
Yes, well, my dear hearts, are we taking your car to the Miskatonic University?
Yes, why not? Why not?
Excellent.
And he makes his way to the door. Yes, my car will be just the ticket. Saves us ordering a cab.
Well, you feel free to use the facilities, and let's gather your friends if we're all in agreement.
Why not? Have another drink. I feel like I may be a couple of moments without going into too much detail.
As we're kind of heading out, I suppose, into the back into the sort of storeroom area as well. If PJ can get a moment where Dr. Montrose and he are kind of hanging back a little bit, he's just going to whisper in her ear, "What do you make of all this, Dr. Montrose? I don't know about this guy. He's talking about people with power, and the people here, the work here, they seem a bit odd, but
I don't know. I can't think straight after that asylum. My head, it's thumping. I don't know.
What about sleep? I mean, he started going off talking. Oh, yeah, maybe you a glass of water or something you should have.
I'll be all right. I think it's just been a long day. But yes, Mr. Sleep is in poor shape, you know. I think he's dangerous.
He was doing that talking to himself thing again that he was doing earlier on.
Aye, as for Mr. Rick, I don't know. He's inferring... Well, these are papers pertaining to witchcraft. Now, what is it witches do, Mr. Mahoney?
Well, witches, they hubble and they bubble and they toil and they trouble.
Aye. To what end? What is it they're doing?
I know.
When he talks about power.
Princes into frogs and so forth.
Yes, and how do they do this, Mr. Mahoney?
Oh, you know
Say it.
You know how.
Say the word. Say the word.
It's magic.
Yes. Yes. He's talking about magic, man.
But it's all baloney.
I know.
It's all hocus pocus. No, it's nonsense. It ain't real. It ain't real. It can't be real. I mean, if it was real, it would challenge everything we believe, everything we hold on to.
I know.
Everything that keeps us this side of sanity.
It may or may not, but Mr. Wick believes it to be absolutely real, of course. The way it's speaking.
Oh, you know, maybe he's spent a little bit too long in the company of these antiques and relics of bygone civilizations and so forth.
Let us hope that's the case.
Oh, yeah, he's an eccentric. That's for sure. An eccentric. That's what they used to say. That's what they used to say. Kind of word they used to use for old Uncle Charlie. Uncle Charlie. When I was a boy, he was an eccentric. Yeah, he used to run around the streets in just his underclothes, shouting about the end of the world and the sky falling down. Oh yeah, sure, he was eccentric, all right.
Yes. Well, we all use euphemisms sometimes to protect people from hurt. Other times because we dare not speak the truth. Give proper meaning to our thoughts.
He thought he could fly as well.
Sometimes he did.
Yeah. Well, he tried. That's for sure. That was the last thing he ever did.
Oh God. So I think you've all sort of roughly gathered back at the back door, more or less.
Yeah.
Dr. Duckworth. Oh, yes, and Mr. Sleep is just in the bathroom. Oh, and yes, Mr. Vick.
I come out of the bathroom, say, I apologize for that. I feel much better now. Something disagreed with me.
It's good that you've got yourself together, Sleep. Yeah, good.
We're going to the autopsy. Your colleagues have been kind enough to invite me along.
Well, that sounds just swell. Should we, you want to take the dog?
I'm sorry.
Oh. No, excuse me. I think I was maybe thinking of someone else.
Ah.
In that moment of awkwardness, I'll just avail myself of the toilet.
It's the most used toilet in the world.
Yeah.
Well, let's not waste a moment's more time.
Yeah, sure.
And he says, I'll lock up while you make yourselves comfortable in the vehicle.
On the way from the building to the car,
Call shotgun.
do I see a dog? Any dogs? Any animals?
No. No.
Oh, it's a shame.
The moment Steinweg clears the door, he pops his tin and rubs a bit of cocaine into his gums, and then just sniffs the last of it off his fingers, his hands shaking as he rests it on his cane.
Once you've all bundled into the car...
Well, I was about to say, sorry, if I was allowed to go to the toilet, I don't know if the others wait, but I probably do use it, but I also just sit down and I take out the picture that was drawn for me in the asylum. Because it's been sort of burning a hole in my pocket, and I kind of want to just see if it's a picture of Abner Wick, or see if it's a picture of Brown Jenkin, or see if it's... Because I just want to see if there's anything I recognise in it, because I think I didn't look at it when he drew it. I may be wrong. Is that what you said?
You did. Yeah, you didn't look at it. You put it away.
I kind of think before we travel anywhere with this man, I want to see what the picture is of. And I realise it's very risky. But
you could do it in the car on the way there. That's
while driving.
Kind of, yeah, that's true. But,
just to see.
But you think it'd be better to do it while you're having a shit?
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to inflict it on anyone else, and it'd be quite hard to get it out subtly and sort of go, "Ooh, what's this?"
Are you talking about the picture or the shit? Don't want to inflict it on anyone else. It's hard to get it out subtly.
Both.
We've all been there.
Well, in that case, can you give me a sanity roll?
It's a constitution check.
I kind of thought that might be.
Maybe. Might be a combined strength and dex roll.
Okay, so I
Strength and dex.
I failed my sanity roll.
Every time I go for number 2, it's a combined strength and dex roll.
Yeah, it's actually a really serious moment. Sorry. Oh, dear.
You failed, you say?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Oh, boy, here we go. How many points off indefinite?
This toilet is doomed for us.
He's going crazy.
Okay.
You're going to go on a violent rage and just smash the toilet up.
I think it's important that I state that I've just stepped outside the threshold and I'm leaning on my cane. I'm not going to the car at this particular point until everyone's there.
It did occur to me as well when Kirk was looking for a dog that he might remember that there's a lovely little statuette of a dog in the shop.
Yeah, but
Don't leave that behind.
I want a real dog.
Unfortunately, it's a pencil sharpener.
Different kind of show. Or is it? It's just kind of mortball, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So you lose 2 sanity points. As you gaze, as soon as your eyes fall on this drawing, you become transfixed by its strangeness. You remember he was sort of sketching this with the pencil in his teeth.
Yeah.
And at first glance, it's a strange scribble. But then it's like you can see the negative space, and it's moving. It seems to be moving away from you and towards you, almost pulsating. And you think you can make out a face. It's a female face. You think it's maybe Amelia Court, but it could equally be another woman that you don't know.
Yeah, could be Lydia, could be anyone, I suppose.
And then the lines sort of, they seem to converge into this darkness, this terrible darkness, and you think you can see the face of Charles Leiter, and you think you recognise something about this congealing darkness on the page as that of what you experienced in Charles Leiter's cottage, and instinctively you slam the book shut.
Yeah. I imagine it also calls back to the dust motes and the little specks of light when I poked my face up into the attic in Ross's corners just before my face was taken away from me forever.
Oh, yes.
There's something... Yes. Well, I think I've probably just gone insane.
Beautifully put.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the tape is going to back you up on that one.
I have a strong suspicion. I am no longer sane.
How many sanity points have you got now?
Well, 39 out of 50.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
Just that little...
I'll probably do it.
I'll do it.
I'll do it. So you're indefinitely insane now.
Ah,
3 down, 2 to go.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mahoney, I'm pretty sure it's me next, Mahoney, so good luck, mate.
I was going to say,
Hold it together.
Have all of us had a bout now at some point? I think we have, which means that if we'll all be in underlying... Oh, you haven't?
I haven't. You have, right?
I have in the cottage. Althea has.
Yeah.
Christ, so it's just me.
It means we're both going to be in underlying insanity, which means that if either of us lose just 1 point, we're going to flip. You're the only one.
Hilariously,
Why doesn't someone come up with the great idea of going to bed? Having a nurse test.
Let's not go and see somebody get a dead body get cut up.
The only person I'm worried about is sleep. The rest of you, I think, are fine.
You're gonna be disabused of that notion.
Yeah.
Well, Ashia doesn't have a firearm. I don't know. Does Mahoney carry a gun with him?
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Of course you do. You're fucking Americans.
Americans.
Ex-cop security guard. He's got all sorts of weapons about his person.
PJ Mahoney, mall cop. Yeah.
Small cop.
No, that is the next...
Yeah, hall cop, halls of residence cop.
Yeah.
He's got his revolver. He's also got a
Cool,
clutch. He's
that's
also got a
fine,
pair
yeah.
of brass knuckles in his pocket.
Christ.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh my
it's
god.
beautiful.
What a roll.
What's he got?
Of all the characters to get this. So just to check, who's not indefinitely insane now? Who's still sane? No one.
Me. That's it.
Just a time
Well, I think Theo and PJ are both still not. They're not indefinitely insane, but they're both in underlying.
Yeah.
So might as well be.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So you've developed a mania, Dr. Duckworth, and that mania is calomania, an obsession with one's own beauty.
That is
perfect.
Superb.
That's
Absolutely
I can't believe that.
superb. No more hiding behind a mask for you, Dr. Duckworth.
The rest of you hear this sort of smashing noise, and emerging from the back door is Dr. Duckworth, sans mask. The shards of it lie on Abner Wick's bathroom floor.
And I sort of, I step out, pop a hip, and sort of purse my lips, or what used to be lips, slightly.
Purse your teeth.
PJ just kind of, he just take a step back.
There's a rictus grin.
What?
So, have we all actually seen his face? I think all I've ever seen him do is lift it up and drink. I've never seen his face.
No, I used it, I'm not sure actually, because I used it to threaten the gangsters originally. I sort of lifted my mask, but you weren't all there for that.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I wasn't there. I don't recall whether I've seen a face
I don't
or not. I
honestly
suspect
recall.
I probably haven't.
So you see this man in he's a tall fellow with his cane and everything, and he has a sort of almost kimono-esque sort of crimson, jacket. Well, quite. But he sort of steps out, and I mean, his face is gone. There's a gap where the nose should be. The eyes have no lids, and there's like sort of trails leading up to where it would be, like a bear's claw has just taken it completely off. But he steps out with an air of utter confidence.
I think that's what's the sanity roll, isn't it? Because
Well, I think as you're all sat in the car, what's happening is Abner Wick is sort of squeezing in. He's going, room for a small one. And just as you look through the through the windows, you're waiting for Duckworth, and someone's maybe like, where is he? And the street lamp falls in such a way that when he opens the door, you just see him silhouetted. And it's not until he steps towards the car that the edge of the street lamp comes under the covered driveway, and he just steps into the phosphorescent light that you see his horrendous face. And that's sanity rolls for everyone.
I think your experience doesn't mean anything in relation to someone glorying in it, does it? It's his behaviour that's just so...
Well, also, there's also the complication that he's told you a story about how he got his face disfigured. Yeah. It's very apparent from seeing it for real that it was not a bear.
Yeah.
Okay, I suppose there's no point me trying to argue my way out of having to roll a sanity roll, is there?
What was your argument?
Well, I think I might have been next to him when he flashed his face at the gangsters in the alley, but I probably didn't see it the full,
maybe,
lit like this under the street lamp. Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
I failed as well.
What's a fumble?
It's maximum sanity loss.
What?
Well, in your case, it would be 96 or more.
Yeah, that's a 96.
And you've got, 10 sanity left?
Yeah.
I think the problem is one of our allies has just left a bathroom, and he looks like the devil made real, right? And so even for a split second, we're all going. That's what Steinbeck's doing. Steinbeck's failed.
So, did anyone succeed?
No.
It's got to the point now, hasn't it? Has anyone ever played the board game Pandemic?
Yes.
So it's got to the point now where we've got outbreaks, like knocking on other outbreaks. It's like someone else, each person's insanity is causing other people to go insane.
Pandemic Road.
There's a chain reaction.
Brilliant.
Insanity chain reaction.
Pandemic Road.
You all lose 3 sanity.
Oh God.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's bouts for me and Althea.
Mm-hmm. Down at 44.
And me, for what it's worth, but I mean...
Getting close now.
Is anyone not having a bout of madness right now?
Oh my God, you've not slipped into indefinite insanity?
I don't think so.
Slipping unnoticed. I'm fine. I'm not fine.
No, I'm still okay. My power was horribly high.
I'm not sure that I did have a bout of madness. Just looking at the... I do remember I went a bit crazy when I was in the bathroom in the cottage and started shooting up the cottage.
I think that was just sand loss, wasn't it? I think you and I suffered sand loss.
Yeah,
I think maybe
I didn't have a bout then, so I'm fine. I'm not in a bout of madness now.
Yeah.
I need to lose another.
I have now lost 10 in the day, but that's not a fifth.
I'm a couple away, so I'm all right just now.
Am I driving, or?
Hang on. Have you? I mean, I feel like you might have jumped the gun a bit.
I think Montrose has a bout of madness before you even get to the car. So.
Oh shit! Of course.
Tonight might be about us trying to get to the car.
We don't even know we're in it or out of it at the moment.
Do you have a significant person, Dr. Montrose?
Yes, I do. My significant person is Ethel Moorhead, the artist and suffragette, and our best pal, and the person that gave her this cane.
Oh, wow.
It should be Ethel Merman.
Oh, Dr. Montrose! Right, there you go.
Sing everything from now on.
Well, Ethel is sat right next to you in the car. Oh, no, in fact, Ethel has just emerged from the toilet and is stood admiring her own reflection in the car windscreen. Sweet old Ethel.
Ethel! Oh, my goodness, fancy seeing you here. And, I thought this story was going to have to wait until I got back home. You'll not believe what's been going on in this place. Miskatonic University, why, it's an absolute shit show. I mean, I came here to look at the library for a few days. I've been caught up with all these daft men chasing around after mobsters and manuscripts. the Hop-House Papers, and I hadn't even heard of them. Most annoying. I don't know who she's addressing exactly.
Dr. Duckworth is who you're talking to.
Yeah.
But it's Ethel.
Oh, terrible.
Terrible. I'm really not myself.
If only these men could see that all that really matters is beauty.
Aye, well, yes, those are very fine sentiments, Ethel, yes. Of course you understand that as an artist. Anyway, what were we doing here?
Yes. Well, I think we were getting in a car to go to some sort of
show. Autopsy, Ethel. What the devil am I
autopsy, sorry.
doing going to a mortuary at 8 o'clock in the evening? Well, I really don't know what to expect. I really don't. But it's lovely to see you, Hen. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, likewise, Hen. Here we are anyway, in the back of the car. Who's driving? Sorry?
Is there anybody in the driving seat?
We all just sat in the passenger seat.
Of course.
Would you like me to drive? Says Abnerwick.
Of course. I'm an excellent driver.
Can I ask what's happened to me?
I will reveal that in but a moment.
Oh, God. But currently, I'm just...
You've sat down in the car, you've seen all this, and you're kind of silently processing it. And then you turn and Dr. Montrose is wittering on to Ethel, whoever that is, which appears to be Duckworth.
Well, I think at the very least, I'm back into self-narration mode, because that's sort of self-preservation in any circumstance. So I think I'm just going to be... I am mumbling to myself.
I fired up the engine.
And that crazy Scotch broad started calling the doctor Ethel. I don't know how she could even look at his face. It was a sight. Anyway, the fucker in the front said he was going to take the wheel. I left him to it.
I mean, PJ very, very calmly, very gently opens the door of the car, gets out, leans and says, "I'll meet you at the morgue." Closes the door and starts walking away. You see him holding up his arm for a taxi.
I think Steinweg has just been in total silence. His mouth is open. I mean, he's lost 3 sanity, drinking in the horror of Duckworth, and then finally he sort of snaps out of it and says, "My God, the Teufel. I mean, the devil made real. Dr. Duckworth, are you well? Are you all right?"
Yes, of course. Would you like me to drive?
I think that might be for the best, my dear.
Why don't I drive?
Excellent.
Why don't I drive? You sit up front with me.
No. I like to keep an eye on the mirrors. And he sort of looks at his sort of lipless grin in the mirrors.
Reverse over PJ.
All right, Mr. Mahoney, and I sort of scamper round a little bit faster than I think I'm going, because the cocaine is sort of taking hold, and I scamper around, and my cane slides out from under me, and my feet slide out slightly, and I kind of hold on to the car, and I'm looking for Mahoney, but I can't see him.
You probably spot him climbing into a taxi on the other side.
It's all too late. By the time it's happening, I go, Nine! Mahoney!
And just as you pull the car out of the driveway and set off, you get to the first junction, and that's when Kirk's screaming begins. This was an Apocalypse Players production. For more information about the podcast, go to apocalypseplayers.com. Thanks for listening.
Guys, I think we've got this. I think we're really close. I think we're going to...
Oh, yeah.
We're going to crack this cake wide.
We might lose one or two. We might lose one or two on the way, but I think...
I mean, 6 people, 5 of whom are insane, one of which is an alien, going to an autopsy.
Who's an alien?
It's going to go wrong.
Yeah. Let's go to the X-Files autopsy and see what happens.
What can possibly go wrong, yeah?